Hi everybody, take 2 on week 15's video introduction. I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about workflow, and I want to talk about something that will help with workflow, HootSuite. And I want to start with a reference back to last week's reading, the integrating social media into existing work environments. This is a difficult article that Dom did a nice job of tackling this week if you've seen his post. And one of the things that I don't talk about very much here on the post that is important to the article is workflow. But I think I mentioned it in the video, and I think you're seeing it. You might not be calling it that, but you're seeing it or hearing it from the organizations that you are working with. They talk about not having the time. They talk about not being able to manage the various social media, and it's a very legitimate concern. And so it's a workflow issue. Pulled up the Wikipedia definition on this in terms if you want to take a look at that. But I definitely want you to think about it, and it goes back to what Stoli also says as your role as trainers in here, and you might be able to help people with their workflow in some ways. Where it becomes a problem is obviously, I'm going to try to click through these, is that when we all log into Facebook, we log in as ourselves. So there's my personal account, and I'm going to go through these kind of quickly, but if I want to do the work of my organization, I've got a couple ways. I can either click over to it this way and find it and start working with it over here. Or I actually do a thing where I just type in the letter A and it usually comes up, but I see it's third there and I just click on it there. But I've got to make some movements to get there. Not a big deal, and it doesn't really slow me down too much, but it is a little bit of an inconvenience, and then I've got to work with that. And somebody talked about how do you post even to your organization as yourself rather than as your organization, and that's something that is a little bit trickier. I think you can choose use Facebook as yourself, but then you see that sends you back here, and then here's the way I usually get over here. I come back here, and now I might be able to use Facebook as myself, although often when I do this I end up posting as African Soul, American Heart anyway. So anyway, I'm here, and then I can do the work of my organization here, not a big deal. If I have another organization, which I do, then it becomes one more click. I actually have 3 that I work with, so then it comes over to here. And again, I'm not showing you much about what I actually do in terms of workflow on these sites, but I'm showing you that the navigation becomes a tiny bit complicated. Add into that, if I want to tweet as myself, I've got my Twitter account open. Twitter isn't quite as fluid as Facebook in the sense that I have also, this is my personal account, but I also have my African Soul, American Heart Twitter account. And to get to that, as far as I can tell, I can't be logged in with both accounts at the same time, and so I would actually have to sign out and log back in, and so that becomes a bit of a challenge for me. Add to that, and this is just true for me personally, it would be true for some of your organizations. I'm obviously trying to keep up on our class website. Again, I've actually done some of the workflow already where I'm logged in and I can get to the dashboard, but if I were coming to it for the first time, I'd also have to log into all of these different accounts if I don't have them set up, and that would take up a little bit more time. All of that is small in and of itself, but then if you have to do it 4 times, 5 times, it starts to slow you down, and so that starts to make the challenges more significant. I haven't done much with my Twitter account for ASAH simply because of this workflow challenge. That one more login is enough of a barrier that I haven't gone to it very often. Luckily I have Facebook set up to feed there, and so we still get some things up there, and then I can repost it, but ideally I would be able to get into it. And I think this is the kind of challenge that a lot of your organizations are talking about. It's a lot to manage. There's also the bigger picture of workflow as well, in the sense that some of them are trying to do this while also maintaining their full-time job. They're trying to figure out, how do I fit this in to my already too busy job, or in the case of some organizations where it's a volunteer, how do I fit this into a workflow that's outside of my work. And for me, and I bet a lot of volunteers, what that means is that second shift, if we can call it that. For me, sort of 9 to 11 every night is when I try to at least get online and do the work of the class and the work of my organizations after my 9 to 5 job and after getting the kids in bed and things like that. So, you know, these are real issues. It becomes pretty demanding to maintain all of this. So what I want to show you, so that's the workflow part of it, right? And if we go back to the original article, it's about how to make that workflow, move it from an activity, sort of that second level, move it from an action, that second level, into an operation. How do I really get it so that it will work smoothly and quickly for me? And what I'm discovering, and this is largely from responses to Elida's post a while back, is that there are various tools out there. The one I've started to explore a little bit is called HootSuite. So like HootSuite, get things done quickly. It's got a free option, which you're looking at right now. And again, I've already logged into this, so I've skipped one element of the workflow in here, but I'm logged into this. And what you're seeing right here is now my ASAH Twitter feed. I thought I'd set that up first because I have pretty easy access, and in my other one I'm comfortable with my personal site here. So I thought, well, maybe I can manage my organizational Twitter feed through here. And so far, although I haven't done a lot with it, it certainly makes sense. I get to see the feeds that are coming through here. I get to see any of the mentions, and unfortunately not too many there. I get to see any direct messages, not too many there, and I get to see what's been sent, which is actually kind of helpful for me, because then I can see when other members of our board who post on Facebook, when they've sent something, it comes out as Kevin Brooks 15, but this last one, for example, the last couple were not posted by me, posted by other people in the organization, which in itself could be a problem. That was a challenge setting that up. If I were to restart this account again, I would come up with a different handle, but that's for another talk. So here's, this is the inside of HootSuite. I showed you walking through Facebook. The way you would walk through it here is that you would, in my case, have 4 of my organizations, or myself and 4 organizations set up. So there's my personal one, and you can see that I've got different options, and you can actually add stream views. I've got 3 set up right now. I can go to 4. So what it added in over here was the events that I'm signed up for. I haven't fully explored where it can go. 5. Looks like I need a 5th stream that I don't have right here. One thing I wish it did, and maybe I haven't had a chance to explore it all, is also show my messages. That would be handy to me in here, and if anybody tries it out and you can do that, there's certainly options over here, and there's certainly a decent chance that I could figure those things out. So that's the personal, and there's the organizational one. You can come back to here and you see it resets to posts and events. So I've just got a couple there. It's loading a little bit slowly tonight, but you can get to see again. So there's the post coming up on the left hand side. Here's the events that we've been sponsoring, my other organizations. I can just kind of keep clicking through those. If I want to post a message, I can do that right in here. I posted one last night on the video that I canceled, but here's where I could post something here, and obviously write a message like, hope the Northern Eclecta event went well. I'm not going to post that. It's a little lame, but I could send it now. I could add a link in here. It will shrink that link. I can add images. So I can do all of the posting things that I would normally do right through here. And then I've got my 3rd organization. Now that probably seems like many. So I've got personal Facebook. I've got over here, I've got organization, then I've got organizational Twitter. That's probably a lot for a lot of people, but for somebody who's really starting to get into the flow of this, that might seem like a really great start, and that might be enough. If it's not enough, there is a pro option that I think is $6 a month. What I'm going to do, I haven't signed up for that yet. There's a 30-day free trial. I'm going to stop this recording. I'm going to go sign up for my 30-day free trial, and I know that one of the things, I haven't even got to this, or I know one of the things that it can do is it can pull in WordPress. I have taken a little bit of a look at that. So what I should be able to do in my Pro HootSuite is bring in my WordPress, bring in both of my Twitter accounts, maintain the 3 Facebook accounts that I want. And they actually have a couple other tools that I don't use listed in there that I could also bring in. So I'm going to pause here, and I'll come back and show you the inside of a pro account.